Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to watch my webinar on nutrition essentials, building a foundation for optimal health. Now, we're going through essentials, but it's not just going to be on nutrition. There's so much more that you have to take into account when you're looking to build optimal health. We're not only going to talk about food, we're going to talk about sleep, we're going to talk about making time, we're going to talk about movement, all things that go into this more holistic picture of optimal health. So first, let's start with who I am and why should I be sharing this with all of you. So my name is Kirsten Therrien. I am a nutrition coach and I run my business KT Nutrition LLC, where I help people from all walks of life with all sorts of nutrition goals, whether they're just looking to get a little healthier to keep up with their kids or their grandkids, to folks who are looking to perform their absolute best in the gym and they're looking to make those incremental gains. People who have never tracked any food intake before to people who are fine-tuning their macros. I have experience working with all sorts of folks, but today what we're doing is bringing it to the basics. Let's start out with the top 3 things that are just so foundational to setting yourself up for success in your nutrition journey. So number 1, first thing that I see people do that tend to be most successful in this is making time. We all have super busy lives, multiple different priorities pulling us in different directions, but somehow we have to prioritize what we want to make time for. Now, that means some things have to give. And that's not for me to decide. That's for you to weigh, which I help people weigh that out all the time. I'm going to give you 7 ways that you can make time for your exercise and your nutrition. So, number 1, this is going to be a whole lot easier if you have a why. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to make time for your nutrition? Why do you want to make time to lead a healthier life? This answer is going to be different for everybody. But I not only want you to ask yourself why, but continue to ask yourself why until you get 5 whys deep. So, for example, someone says, my goal is I want to eat healthier and exercise more. Okay, great. Why do you want to do that? Well, say I want to fit into smaller pants. Okay. Why do you want to fit into smaller pants? Do you see where this is going? So why do you want to fit into smaller pants? Well, because if I'm wearing smaller pants, I'll look better. And this is just an example. And then next why? Why do you think I want to look better? Well, because when I feel good, when I look good, I'll feel better about myself. Why do I want to feel good about myself? Well, because when I feel good about myself, I'm more assertive and I'm more confident. There we go. See how we're getting a little deeper? And then why do I want to be more assertive and confident? Well, because when I'm more assertive and confident, I'm in control. My fears don't stop me, and I can finally go for my dreams to be a little, wow about it. But see how we started with just, I want to eat healthier and exercise more. Keep digging and really dig down deep to find your why. Number 2, so identify your top priorities. Again, this is going to look different for everybody, but like I said, something's going to have to give, not 100%, but we have to make time for some things more than other things. So for example, if I have 3 things that are my priorities, say it's time with friends and family, being a competitive athlete, and if I enjoy watching TV, which I don't personally, I fall asleep very easily, but I have those 3 things. I'm going to want to prioritize those. So time with friends and family, I'm going to say that's number 1. Being a competitive athlete, while that's close, I'm going to put that at number 2 because friends and family are more important to me. And finally, I'm going to put watching TV as 3rd. So that means to increase times with friends and family, I'm going to maybe spend less time watching TV. That's a super simple example, but number 2 in that list of 7 things is going to be identify your top priorities. Number 3, keep a time diary. So time, it can so easily get away from us. If you're like me, and I don't know if you have an iPhone, but every Sunday it comes up with your screen report and it says, how much time did you spend on your screen? That's an example of a time diary. We don't need to get down to the minute like that does, but figure out how much time you spend prepping food, or how much time you spend at work in a week. How much time do you spend driving? If you want to get down to the nitty gritty, how much time do you spend on Instagram or making coffee? So figure out how much time you spend in a couple categories: work, sleep, exercise, healthy meal prep, and just chilling out in your downtime. So then you can see where you might want to make adjustments. Number 4, increase your health and fitness activities just in 15-minute increments. It's so tempting to want to just dive all in, and I'm going to go for a 10-mile run every day, and I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week and no rest days. That's just a little unreasonable. We got to make change in little 15-minute increments. So you could take 15 minutes off of the time. Say if it's for me to go back to my priority list, I'm going to take 15 minutes less of time watching TV and add that 15 minutes more towards my next goal of becoming a competitive athlete. Make small changes like that. Number 5 in this list of 7 things to help us have time for our exercise and nutrition. Number 5 is to create systems that make your goals faster and easier. So a couple things to do. This is just setting ourselves up for success. We want to do some things that just make it easier to make the right decision. So for example, we could keep our fresh whole foods in plain sight. Like I'm talking fruit on the table, or you open the fridge and your fruits and vegetables are right there at eye level. You could establish a morning routine. So your morning routine could be, maybe first thing in the morning, you chop the vegetables you're going to need for the day while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, or something along those lines. You could keep 2 things to do at the gym. You could keep a gym bag packed and ready to go in your car or by your front door. So it's ready. The decision is easier. Grab your bag and out the door. Speaking of the gym, join a gym that's close to home or on your way to work. Make it easy to go to the gym. Don't make yourself have to go out of the way. Don't make it harder than it has to be to go to the gym. Another example to set yourself up for success is you want to meet up with a friend. You could go for coffee. That's awesome. You could also go to a park where you're going to get some activity in. So little decisions like that, putting yourself in environments that make the right decisions easier. Number 6, putting meal prep and movement in your calendar. This is something that's huge for me, and it goes along the lines of setting yourself up for success. Put your gym sessions as an appointment in your calendar, that it's just like any other appointment. You have to keep it. So it eliminates the whole, if I feel like it, or I'll get to it later, or when I get out of work, because something comes up and your calendar's open and something else is going to slide in there. Schedule it in your calendar and hold yourself accountable to stick with it. Finally, number 7 in this first chunk of our little webinar here is, at the end of every week, look back, see how you did, praise yourself for what you did well. This is so important. And just give yourself a little pat on the back for something you did well. And then look at your week and say, what do I want to change? Now, be careful here. We can't get too down on ourselves. Don't say, oh, I messed this up and I messed this up and I wish I could do this better and I can't think of anything I did well. Find something you did well and then pick one thing that you wish you could just do a little bit better next week. And then make a plan. Make a plan for what action you're going to take to set yourself up for success in the next week. So that wraps up number 1. Number 1, again, making time. It's so important to make time for movement, make time for food prep, make time for sleep. That brings us to point number 2, sleep, right? We haven't touched on it yet. Sleep is just so, I would argue that sleep is more important than food when it comes to whole health and getting healthy. So I've just got some tips and tricks for how you can make your sleep even better. Ideally, we've all heard that getting 8 hours of sleep every night. That's ideal. Every person's going to be different, but I'm going to say, without knowing you personally, I'm going to say bare minimum 6 hours. Closer to 7, really the minimum here. 7 to 8, awesome. 8 plus, A+ student. But sleep is just so important. Sleep helps regulate our emotions, as I'm sure you can tell after you don't get a good night's sleep. Sleep helps regulate our mood. Sleep helps regulate our appetite. If you're looking to make healthier food choices and reduce cravings, you gotta sleep. It's gonna make it so much easier on you. Not saying it's easy, but sleep is gonna make it a little bit easier. So, got a couple best practices for sleep hygiene. That's the term of making sure our sleep is, just practicing good sleep practices, sleep hygiene. That's the term we're going to use. So, number 1, as best as you can, keep a regular sleep schedule. So our bodies like regularity. Do as best as you can to go to bed and wake up at the same time. With a regular schedule, your body's going to start to get into a rhythm. It's going to start to release the calming hormones before bed and the stimulating hormones when it's time to wake up. Now, this sounds like it's some magic trick. None of these tips are like the magic pill. So these are just tips that added together night after night after night are going to help you with your sleep hygiene. So regular schedule as best as you can. I know some of us, myself included, work shifts or we have a rotating schedule. Do what you can with the control you have over your sleep to keep it a regular schedule. Number 2, keep alcohol and caffeine consumption moderate. The further away from bed that if you're going to consume alcohol or caffeine, the further away from bedtime, the better. So caffeine, say if you go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, or even 10 o'clock, between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, try to cut off caffeine by like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Alcohol, as much as it feels like, you have some drinks and go to bed and you feel like you pass right out, that sleep isn't truly restful sleep though. Alcohol makes huge changes to your resting heart rate and your heart rate variability. If you wear a Whoop or any other tracking device, you'll see that. But sleep after consuming alcohol is not truly restful sleep. So try to avoid caffeine within 8 to 9 hours of your bedtime. And alcohol, if you're gonna consume it, try to keep it a little bit away from bedtime. It'll help your sleep. So next, number 3, eat and drink appropriately. So have a regular to smallish size meal 2 to 3 hours before bed. The more balanced, the better. Try not to drink too much liquid in the hours before bed because, as we all know, that's going to wake you up for bathroom breaks. So try to cut back liquid intake in the hours before bed. Number 4, so journaling. Journaling is huge for people who seem like your mind just keeps racing as you're trying to go to bed. So just take a couple minutes and just do a brain dump. Get it all out on paper, and whatever's in your brain, just get it all out on paper. So you can just let that go for the night. Number 5, this is so difficult to do in this day and age, but so important with the blue light. So turn off electronics. Digital devices stimulate our brain, the TV, the phone, the iPad, the computer. So do your best to unplug from all screens, bare minimum 30 minutes before bed. An hour is even better. So the screens release, as I'm sure you know, a blue light that prevents our brain from preparing for sleep. It kind of keeps it turned on. Number 6, have a routine to stretch or read or find something else to de-stress before bed. So you turn off all your electronics, use that time to have a stretch routine or get some reading done, even just 20 minutes of reading before bed. something a routine that'll signal your body that it's time to sleep, it's time for bed. So next, what we have, if, again, going back to the phones, say iPhone, or I'm not familiar with Android, but a lot of phones have some sort of a wind down feature and something that will remind you that it's time to start getting ready for bed. So look into your phone, or you can even just set an alarm in your phone that, oh, it's time to go to bed. Set an alarm to remind yourself to stop what you're doing. It's time to shut down and go to bed. Exercising regularly is also going to have a huge impact on your sleep. Do your best to exercise regularly. And finally, let's just touch on a couple environmental things for the bedroom. So number one, keep it neat, tidy, relaxing place to be. Number two, keep it as dark as you can. That could include having some blackout curtains, or that could include putting your alarm clock light on its dimmest setting. Number three, keep it cool. Everyone is different, but a range anywhere from 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 15 to 20 Celsius if you use Celsius, appears to work best at night for most people. Some folks like white noise, a fan, a humidifier, or a cheap white noise machine off of Amazon can help a lot of people sleep. So that wraps up our sleep practices. Now, number three. Third thing that I see is most helpful with people trying to make change in a positive way towards their health and fitness is being aware in some form or another for some period of time, being aware of their food intake. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to give you macros and you have to track the macros for eternity. No. Tracking macros is not a forever thing, nor is it for everybody. Some folks are fine never tracking macros. They never have a need to. But there's multiple ways to be aware of our food intake. Number one, which is most accessible to almost all folks, is just being mindful eating. So in this day and age, it's so easy to just we're eating on the go, and we just eat when we have time, and these processed foods that are easy to just grab and go. Let's do our best to go back to number one, make time to eat, make time to prepare healthy meals. If you got to block it out in your calendar. Here's a couple helpful tips for eating more mindfully. First, sit down to eat in a calm environment with as few distractions as possible. It's so tempting and easy at the end of a long day. Just want to sit down and just eat on the couch while you're watching TV. Try to dedicate time just to eating, and then you can have time for watching TV later. Try not to eat while you're driving. That's not only not mindful eating, that's a little dangerous. Try not to eat while you're texting. Just pay attention to your food. How does the food feel in your mouth? How is the taste? Are you chewing the food enough until it's like an applesauce consistency? So take time and slow down with your meals. Second, choose high fiber foods that take more time to chew. So this is going to help you eat a little bit slower. So some high fiber foods, we could be talking about fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, things that take a little bit of time and make you slow down. Number three, put down your utensils between bites. So, take a bite. Instead of holding the fork in your hand, just put it down. Chew your food. Take a moment. If you're eating with other people, enjoy the company, enjoy the conversation. Breathe between bites. Slow down. Put your utensil down between bites. Next one, this could feel a little weird at first, but try setting a minimum number of chews per bite. Just throwing it out there. Might feel a little strange at first, but give it a try and see what you discover. Another tip is use smaller plates or different utensils, such as if you get sushi, instead of eating it with a fork, try chopsticks. It might slow you down a little bit. If you're very proficient with chopsticks, you might not even see a difference, but at least for me, chopsticks slow me down quite a lot. So if you find yourself rushing, if you're trying to do this and you're like, oh, I'm just back to rushing while I'm eating my food, that's okay. Just accept it. And when you think of it, slow down. If slow eating isn't a regular habit for you, this is going to take practice. Another thing you could do is find another slow eater and pace yourselves to them. At least for me, in my line of work, we never know when the next call is going to come in. We tend to be very fast eaters. We're eating on the go, eating when we can. That's okay. When I have the control over my meals, when I know I have time, I like to slow down. If your job is one thing and you got to get meals in when you can, completely understandable. But take control over the times that you have control over. And like I said before, set aside time to eat 20, 30 minutes for each meal, preferably longer at dinner, especially if you have someone that you can converse with, even if it's your dog. But try not to just eat whenever you get around to it, or I'll eat later, or I'll eat on the go, or treat eating as an inconvenience. This is important. You're fueling your body. And if it's dinner with family, you're spending quality time with friends and family. So that's another thing that I find people who are very successful with change, something I find them doing, is being mindful with their intake. So that wraps up mindful eating, something that I would say is a good general recommendation for anybody, regardless of their goals. It can never hurt to slow down a little bit and be more mindful of the food going into our body. Now, if you're looking to take it a step further, past being mindful of your intake. Now, this isn't necessarily for everybody, but a way that we can have more concrete information, not necessarily concrete, but a more reliable sense of information. If we want just the data in front of us, we want to see what we're really putting into our bodies. It can be a good reality check, a good kind of touching base with reality to track our intake for even a short period of time. Even if you track it for a month, tracking does not have to be forever. We don't even have to set limits on tracking our food. That's something that I find people, that's a hesitation a lot of people have with tracking their food intake is, but I don't want to be set to limits. I don't want to feel hungry all the time. No one says we have to do this if we track our food intake. We don't even have to weigh and measure our food. We can just be tracking portions. So you don't need a food scale. You don't need a fancy app on your phone or anything. All you need is, if at the most basic level, just a pen and paper, and you to be able to be mindful of our portions and take a second to write down our portions. There's multiple methods. There's a method where you can track using your hands. For example, a serving of carbs might be a cupped handful. Veggies might be a closed fist. A serving of fats might be the size of your thumb, and a serving of protein would be the size of your palm. Don't need to weigh and measure, and those are pretty accurate ways to gauge what a portion of food is. Another option could be weighing and measuring. Now, this can take a lot of practice to get used to, and you might want to find some videos on YouTube or someone who has a little bit of experience with tracking and weighing and measuring, just to give yourself a little kickstart and not try to reinvent the wheel by yourself. Now, if you're looking for a little bit more support, if you're looking for maybe support from other folks who are in the same boat as you, I'm running a Spring into Tracking challenge. Now, this is for folks who have very limited to no experience with tracking their food. This is not for folks who have tracked their food intake for 3 or more months. This is for people who are pretty new to it, maybe a little bit timid. This is your environment. This is where we're going to explore some new habits, gain some insights into health, and learn how to track our food intake and be a little more mindful together. You're going to get actionable tips, some guided journaling, live interactive sessions where every week for 4 weeks, we're going to dive into a topic and they're going to build onto each other. By the end of the 4 weeks, you're going to feel confident in tracking your food, whether or not you want that to include weighing and measuring, whether or not you want that to include, set macros to follow. That would be your next step after this course. This course is assigning macros, protein, fat, and carbs is not part of this class. The farthest we're going to get in this class into assigning macros is having a protein goal. Now, that's not a limit. That's a goal, a range of protein that we want to hit in a day based off of a bunch of factors that we'll dive into. But that's the extent of numbers that we're going to get into in this course, is just a range, a goal of protein that you want to hit in a day. So this is not going to be restrictive. This is not going to be, super in-depth fine-tuning our macros. That's not what this course is about. This is an intro. So what to expect? What are you going to get out of this? Live interactive sessions. There's going to be 4 sessions, one each week, where we're going to dive into our topic for the week, and there's going to be time for Q&A at the end. In addition, you get 2 one-on-one sessions as part of this course. You can schedule them whenever works with your calendar. So that way we can discuss your progress and fine-tune any adjustments you want to make or ask any questions that you might not want to ask in the whole group. And finally, as I mentioned before, we're going to have some guided journaling, practical worksheets, just tools that you can take with you after this 4 weeks to enhance your experience without any of it being overwhelming. None of it is mandatory. You take what you need from this course. So real quick, I'm going to summarize what these 4 weeks are going to look like. Week number 1, we're going to start simple. We're just going to track a few daily habits to see where we are. Week number 2, we'll introduce that focus on protein that I talked about, exploring how it fits into your diet. Week 3, we'll look at and consider, if you're at a place that you want to do that, tracking our overall intake. Again, not setting any restrictions. This may seem like a lot, but this doesn't come till week 3. We're over halfway through the program by the time we introduce this. Week number 4, we're going to put it all together, and you're going to have a week to practice this tracking while you're still under the guidance and the supportive community of the group. We're going to have an exclusive group where you get to talk about any tips or tricks, share advice, ask questions. I'll obviously be super present in the group as well. This is going to be a fun time. This is going to be really good. I'm excited for the group. You can go ahead, and if this sounds like something you want to do, you can go ahead and register below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. My contact information is below, and I'm really looking forward to getting started. I will mention finally that I will close registration for this class as soon as it's full. So that's not to close anybody out, but I just want to keep this experience very valuable, since we do have that one-on-one interaction. I am one person, so I'm not trying to close anyone out by doing that. But once this class is full, it's going to be closed, because I want to keep that one-on-one interaction just valuable for those in the class. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch this webinar. I hope that you gained something out of this. And if taking that next step and tracking your food intake sounds like something you want to do, I can't wait to see you next week.